Been a long time, huh? Been a really long time. How is everyone? Even though I know there's nobody here, I'm going to talk to myself. Oh, I wanted to get something. I'll be right back. Hold on. Yeah, so there's going to be some traffic noise which I can't help. If I go in the backyard, there's a bazillion mosquitoes. Hi Renee, I saw you in there. A bazillion mosquitoes. They're even out here. 10:30 a.m. Is that what it is right now? I thought it was afternoon. So I guess it is good morning. Good morning to y'all. Yeah, so it's been a really long time, and I had made a video and was going to put it up. And in the master bath, the toilet started leaking underneath the toilet, and it became a fiasco, right? So basically, I'm not supposed to lift anything, first of all, but there's nobody else to fix it, and I can't afford a plumber. So I went to turn off the water. I'm going to fix it myself. Needs a new wax ring. And how's it going, Brown Dwarf, BD? I've been loving the videos, man. Been loving it. Great stuff. Great stuff. Hey, Digger Dog, what's up? Yeah, so I went to turn the water off to the toilet, and the little, I don't know what you call it, water feed valve or whatever you call it, it wouldn't turn off. So that meant I needed one of those too, besides the wax ring. And I turned the water off and pulled it all apart. Really? Got a Bigfoot peeking at you? Man, check this out. I'm going to talk about this. 15 inches by 8 inches. Oh, yeah. Is that a big daddy or what? Check that out. Wow, man. Wow. Huh? That's a big one. But I want to talk about that. First, I want to tell you this story. So I got a video. I made it. I talked about this, a little bit of leather things I'm doing. Just bringing everybody up to speed, telling you I'm going to do a live today. I never got to that video. The toilet and turned into a fiasco. It wound up leaking all over the freaking place. And I changed everything. Put the toilet all back, and then the tank was leaking. Little bolts. When I moved everything around, that disturbed that. So I had to pull it all back out again. Change the little bolts in the where the water reservoir. And then I put it all back, and I messed up the wax ring, pulling it off 2 times, so it's leaking under the toilet again. The original problem is the problem again. So that means I have to pull it out again, and I wound up. This Bigfoot right here was a little over 10 feet, maybe 12 feet. And I've shared this before, but I thought I would share it again, like reshare it, because I really haven't covered this one and what happened. This Bigfoot was looking in an older couple's RV up here, not far from me, probably 25 minutes from my house. And they were actually playing games on their in their big bus RV, and this thing was, bent over and looking in the windshield at them. And the lady felt like she was being looked at, and she looked around, saw it bent over looking in the window, and she screamed. Her husband turned just in time to see it pivot around away from the bus and jump 35, he estimates 35 feet, between 2 oak trees And he said it when it jumped or leaped, there was branches on the oak tree, small branches. He said they should have broke, but it looked like it grabbed the branches and pulled itself in up when it was on its highest arc, from what they could see. And he doesn't think that it used the branches at all, because if he would have pulled his weight to propel himself further, it would have broke the branches off, according to him. And then when I was looking at it, it should have, because none of the branches that were there were over an inch in diameter. So something that's 10 to 12 feet tall, it's not going to be able to pull the branches. But then we don't know, man. These things they outclass us so bad. You know what I mean? They're forest ninjas. They do things that defy everything. Hi, Amanda. Yeah, so when I got there, this track was right in front of the bus. It was the only track I could find. And you could actually see, right here on where it actually pivoted and pushed the mud when it turned. And then it has 6 toes, right? It looks like 6 toes, but that's not 6 toes. It actually pushed mud between its toes. When I made the cast, it looks like 6 toes, but it's really 5 toes. And it's 7.5 inches across right here, and it's 15 inches from here to here. 15 inches. So it's huge. It's a big one. It really is a big one. But I thought I would bring that out and let you guys see, like, that's huge. I mean, really huge. Huge. But I when I got there, so their bus was about 35 or 40 feet. I didn't measure it, but estimating 35 to 40 feet from the dirt road, the main road that everybody, it's a dirt road. It's a dead-end road, too. It's called Hidden Hollow. I think it hit that dirt road, and it leapt off of 1 foot. 1 foot. This 1 foot. There was no other track. And they had been watering around, I guess they're setting their bus up to live there. So they had been watering around the bus to grow grass. And there, right in front in the windshield, there was one place that was kind of sandy, no grass, and that's where this impression was. Now, when I was standing there, and they were telling me the story, and we're standing in front of the bus, looking at the track, and they told me that it had to bend over to look in the bus. So I looked at the windshield, and when I looked at it, I was below the bottom of the windshield by about 8 inches. I could not even stand on my tippy toes and see inside the bus because the windshield was taller than me. Yeah, they do that a lot, Digger Dog. And you know what else they do? Back in the day, before I met Jeff and got Bigfooting with the team, I used to go on my own because I was, this next month will be 36 years since I seen Bigfoot for the first time. And 6 years after that, I didn't go camping. I quit hunting altogether. I was deer hunting when I saw it. I quit deer hunting, and I quit everything. I quit camping. I didn't go anywhere in the mountains for 6 years. But I finally got, after 6 years, you're kind of questioning yourself. Was that real? Did I really see what I saw? So I had to go back. and to the area that I saw it and use all my hunting skills that I grew up using to hunt animals, I start using to look for these things. And it was still freaking me out because like I said, my parents were outdoors people, and they had some friends, and we would vacation up there. We spent every weekend that we could get up there. I mean, from the time I was born all the way until I got married and moved out on my own. We spent, and then we would spend at the end of the summer 2 weeks up there scoping deer, tracking, trying to figure out where they all are, and then we would have 1 week where it would be right before deer season, and so we would do 2 weeks, a week off, and then deer season would start, and we'd go back for opening day, and we would spend 2 weeks, up to 14 days, and then all through, if we didn't get a deer on the first 2 weeks, then we would be back every weekend until deer season was over, trying to fill our tags. When I seen it, it was the first 2 weeks. It was 9 days into the first 14 days that changed my whole world. That changed my whole everything. I have never been the same since. I mean, it changes your whole paradigm. If I would have known that was there when I was 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, I would not have been wandering around in the woods by myself with just a hunting knife on and a fishing pole. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been cruising the creeks. And then going back and thinking about it after, there was so many times when I had only my hunting knife and a fishing pole that things happened, and like rocks would land in the creek, in the little pool above me or below me, sometimes in the one I was at. But I never saw it actually hit the water. It would just splash me, and I would think, what the heck? You sit there and you think somebody's messing with you. And I always thought it was one of the other kids messing with me, and I would yell at them. And yeah, we should, man, we should. In fact, I want to make some leather products with UFOs and aliens and Bigfoots and stuff, and so you can put them in your store and finance your store. Help you stay in business. I just thought I think it would be cool. Just let me know what it is everybody would buy that you would enjoy selling and having, and even something for you. Yeah, so I always thought it was other kids messing with me, or somebody else, that just wanted to mess with me. I would hear twigs snapping, branches snapping. I never heard a tree fall, not until after I got with Jeff and everybody. Then I saw the tree fall. 3 trees within 20 minutes of each other, and I saw the third one fall, and so did Jeff. And I mean, we didn't leave. If they were sending a message to get out of there, we didn't get out of there, and nothing happened to us. That's the one thing that you have to really think about when you're out there. So all my life, they didn't do anything to me. They just messed with me, throwing rocks, all kinds of weird stuff that you wrote off as being somebody else, one of the other kids or some other camper or hiker or something messing with me. But after that, then you start going over your life in the mountains and in the wild, and you start thinking, wait a minute, these things are real, they're really out there, I know what I saw, I watched it over an hour, almost 2 hours. I would say right around an hour and 45 minutes. And changed my life. So much so that I went back over as much as I could remember anyways, of camping, trying to figure out if I ever was near them or they were ever near me, or if I ever was encountering them. And it still to this day scares me really bad, where I won't go alone. And now we found them down here in the valley, where we would drive 3 hours to go where I know they are because I saw them there and experienced them there. Even, at the spot with Jeff and everyone, we know they're there. It's like a 3-hour drive way out in the middle of nowhere. When we started getting evidence of them down here, 10 minutes from my house, all along the canals and the waterways, and then started, people, you wonder how many people that live out there along the canals or the rivers or the creeks that run through the valley, how many people encountered these things and didn't know, just like me, that things happen and you wrote it off as being somebody messing with you, right? Or how many saw it and won't tell anyone? That it makes you really wonder. And I mean, people are telling us now, they see on the news this little lake where there's more drownings. This lake is notorious for drownings. There's signs all around it saying, beware, it has a high number of drownings at this lake, more than any other little lake around here. And they always attribute it to the undercurrent. There's like a river right next to it, and I guess it flows through that lake somehow also, with under little tunnels or whatever under that lake. And they always thought people would get sucked down like that. Only now, after we found them over there consistently over there, and Dogman, it makes you wonder, like, were all the drownings like that? Were all the drownings just because they drank too much or something like that? Plus, they rarely find a body. So they're just assuming they drowned, right? They're just really assuming it because they disappear. 1 minute they're swimming around, splashing around. Next minute, they're gone forever at this lake. It makes you wonder, if they're that way here where I live, they're that way everywhere, right? That means no matter where you live, if you started paying attention and taking little outings to the recreational areas in your area, you may encounter these things where you live, right? Where you live. You just have to open your mind and start becoming more aware of your surroundings and what's going on. I think, at least I think. Yeah, so I got cleared by the doctor. I'm real happy about that. He tells me I still have 3 or 4 months before I'll be totally 100% healthy, but I don't have a cane anymore. At first I was always looking for the cane, and I put it away so that I wouldn't, like, I don't know what you call it, a habit. You used it so many years that you feel like you gotta have it, kind of thing. I don't know, but I put it away, and I would catch myself looking for it even though I didn't need it, and I still don't need it. And I'm real happy about that. I'll be able, I have to work on the leg. So many years of not being able to use it properly, and the nerves not functioning in the leg properly, it made the muscles atrophy. So I have to work those muscles back. Otherwise, I still can't hike real far. I'm doing really well, and I mean, this last surgery was tough. It was a tough one. It had me down pretty good, and I could only sit like 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, and then I would be most of the time laying down the rest of the time, and I'm not that guy. I'm gonna tell you right now, that is the hardest thing I ever did. I can't lay around, man. I really seriously can't lay around. And then I went on I don't know if you guys know this, but I am thinner. I'm just a tad over 30 pounds lighter. And I worked on cutting the portion size of my meals to it took me a while. This isn't like losing weight overnight type thing. It took, I don't know, from all of this year so far, from the beginning of this year till now. And it started to really come off the last 3 months. Like at first it was really slow and I wasn't seeing much progress, but I just kept doing that. No seconds, no going back for seconds. And at first I was starving to death, I thought. Cut your meals down, the size amount you eat, and it felt like I was always hungry, but I guess once your body figures out that's all you're going to give it, I don't even miss it now. And now if sometimes, I'm really hungry because of activity or whatever, or I missed a meal, and I'll up that portion a little bit because I think I'm that hungry, and then I wind up can't eat it because I'm stuffed almost at the amount of the portion that I brought myself to eat most of the time. So I don't know if your stomach shrinks down, or I have no idea, but all I know is I've been maintaining. I was 200 and running between 210 to 220 for a few decades, and I'm now hovering about 180, 181, 183. When I go in, it's always like around 180. I haven't broke below 180 yet, but the doctor tells me that's exactly where I should be at. Even though one doctor told me you should be 150, I think 150 I would be a freaking skeleton, and I don't believe that. I feel like 180 is right around my perfect weight. I feel great. And I notice I can walk further. I'm not get out of breath at all. And I'm trying to walk a lot, trying to bring the muscle back in this right leg, trying to reverse the atrophy. Because, they fixed me up. They actually fixed the left side completely in the very first procedure. Now I've had 3 procedures on the right side, 2 procedures and then 1 surgery to put in a spacer to hold the spine from crushing the disc. I still have sciatica a little bit. It's bearable. It comes and goes, and they tell me that it may go all the way. That's just a sign of your nerves coming back to life. So that's what they say. Mushrooms. I remember back when I was younger, a lot younger, living in Oregon, we used to go and get garbage bags of those things, and then come down in California and sell them for a lot of money, and then buy beer here that you can't buy in Oregon because they have state liquor stores or something like that. Back then, you could buy beer and wine at the grocery store, but any hard liquors you had to go to a state liquor store, and there was a lot of beers you couldn't get. So we'd go to California. I think Coors is one of them. We go to California and sell the mushrooms and then come back with a bunch of beers, and it was great. That was before my days of like early 80s, late 70s times. I was a wild and crazy person. Yeah, I don't understand that. I have some friends that did that, and at first they lost weight and they looked like death, I thought. And they had that done, but you can slowly stretch your stomach back out again and gain all that weight back. That I've had several friends do that, and I don't get it, like go through all that and make yourself sick and possibly have complications when you can just force yourself and stick to it and just cut your portion size down and change the actual things you eat. Like some things just totally aren't good for you. And it seems like all the stuff that's not good for you tastes the best and you like the most. I don't know why. I don't know why. But it is like that. Like the things that are good for you, they just really, they're not that delicious, You have to force yourself. It takes a lot of willpower there, to eat crap, but hey, that's what they say. But it was either lose the weight or start having heart issues, right? That was what I was facing. Really high cholesterol and like way up there, like 350, 400. And they were telling me, you're going to die. And I decided if I'm going to spend all that money to fix my back and everything, then why not like give myself my heart a break and my body a break and trying to break all this crap down. Wow, that's a trip. Really, Renee? Vape stores. That's amazing. This is a different world, isn't it? Isn't this a different world? I remember when you had just a little roach, the cops would pull up, swallow that thing, Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, so BD, I was wondering, does YouTube mess with you on views because of what you're sharing? Like, have you hit a ceiling? Like I know I have. They don't share my videos. I look at all the numbers and I had over 8,000, but since I haven't been doing much, I know people haven't unsubscribed. I think YouTube unsubscribes people, or maybe they drop out and they unsubscribe or they lose their account or something like that. So I was just wondering. I always have too, Mark, always. I never tell that to anyone but my wife and maybe some close friends. I used to, how you do chewing tobacco? I'd grab a whole bunch, stick it in my lip, and we'd go out hunting more, hunting for more. And yeah, I used to not watch very many videos. I'm too active, too busy. Even on a cane, I'm an active person. I don't watch. But when you're stuck and you got to lay down all the time and your activities cut in half because you just have to get well, I found that I watch a lot of videos, and only because it was pure boredom. I played some games, but that you can only play that so long before it's like so repetitious that it gets boring real fast, that you're doing the same grind or whatever they call it all the time. So I caught myself watching. I realized I was watching videos, a lot of videos, and one of the things that bugged me, it still bugs me, is especially like for veteran YouTubers that have their channel for a long time, and maybe they were using a different camera or something like that, and now everybody uses a cell phone like this. And I could sit here and I could look at myself, right, and I could do all these facial features, but I'm never addressing you guys, right? I'm not looking at the camera, so I'm not looking in the right place. So if I'm talking to you, I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you and do all this stuff, and then I'll be looking over here, and man, that bothers me like crazy. That, hey, you're talking to me, right? Over here, I'm over here. Hey, like, talk to me, okay? Quit talking to yourself, like. I can't even watch videos where they do that now, and almost everybody does it. They're looking at their self on the phone, and then they get real animated, I noticed too. The older YouTubers that had a channel for a long time and didn't use their cell phone at first. They talked to the camera, they were addressing who they're talking to. But as they start using the cell phone, I notice they get more animated with their face, and because they're watching their self. Now they act more excited when they're excited, and they do more, but they're looking over here, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, like that, instead of going like this, you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. That bugs the heck out of me, man. I've been flipping YouTube videos off because of it. And then I wanted to ask you guys another question. How to Hunt. How many of you guys watch How to Hunt guy? The, what's his name? Isdall. How many of you guys do that? Watch that guy? I think some of them, of the stories, when they start getting real long-winded and describing the goosebumps and the fog coming off the trees and the sun and all these things, the descriptive, when they start getting like that, I think those are fake. A lot of them, anyways, because if you have an encounter with a Bigfoot, I don't think you're paying attention to all that stuff. I think if you realize it's a Bigfoot, your attention's going to be totally focused on that, and not, you might notice that all the sounds quit in the forest. I have. But I'm not paying attention to the fog or the sun, taking the moisture off the trees and everything steaming and the little squirrel barking in the background, or I'm not thinking of all that stuff, right? I think the whole thing, like, some of them are real and you could tell, but some of them are these big long stories, and it's like 30-minute story, and then it boils down to a 2-second encounter. 2 seconds. Like, serious? That 2 seconds would have wiped my memory, And I'm not saying vet the videos, and I think it's really interesting, and I like listening to it. And one other thing I noticed was, they talk about filling in their piece of the puzzle or something like that. And that's all I've been doing is I want to know, what are these things? What do they do? What are they capable of? And over the years, I've tracked them, and then the tracks end. And that was right in the very first year I came back. After the 6-year hiatus of being too scared to go, the very first time back, I tracked one 2 miles, and it went to the top of a ridge in the middle of above the tree line, and these tracks were like a tightrope, and they were not any bigger than my tracks. That's what's weird. Barefoot, November, right? Cold. I'm wearing a jacket. We're all wearing winter clothes. Track this thing all the way, and then right at the very top of the ridge, the track ends. And there's nothing but 75 yards around of decomposed granite like sand. Where did it go? Where? I don't know. Then when I got with Jeff, some of the first things we were doing is using infrared cameras, security cameras. The Bigfoots are there. They're coming in close to the camp. So Jeff came up with the idea, let's use infrared. And he had an infrared beam. Like Congress. Oh man, I would love to talk about that, but I can't talk about it on YouTube or I lose this channel. I was actually watching him before the Bigfoot stuff too, because I like hunting, and even though I haven't hunted since 1987, I still enjoy it, and I was a pretty good hunter by that time. I was probably 27 or something like that, and I mean, from the time I was 5 years old, they gave me a little a rifle with a little gold wooden bullet in it. So before I could even hunt, I was carrying that, and I was learning to track, learning how to walk, how to be quiet. I mean, I got in trouble so many times for dragging my feet, making too much dust, stomping, breathing weird. I mean, I learned everything, how to read the tracks, what the tracks are, which direction, how old is the track, how to read how they're feeding in the woods, all this stuff. So I enjoyed watching him because he would talk about that stuff in there in the hunting things. I noticed he doesn't do much of that anymore. He showed us hunting, but not a lot of hunting stuff. So I'm starting to lose a little bit of interest because now those stories are getting monotonous, and it seems like there's more and more of these long, descriptive, how they, all this information that doesn't even matter. Get to the sighting, let's get to the sighting, I catch myself fast forwarding through them to get to the actual encounter or visual or whatever it is. I'm terrible, I know. I shouldn't be that way. Oh, here comes a big bee. Ooh, there he goes. I don't know if you guys saw that. Carpenter bee. I hope the traffic's not drowning out my voice. We live on a really busy street and it gets crazy here. Yeah, now when I do look away, I'm looking in the background. Oh, you had one too, right? The little army. It was like an M1 or something like that. Bolt action. Maybe a Springfield A303 modeled after that. I had one of those sporterized when I was a kid. And Springfield A303 30-06. That was the go-to rifle back in the day. It was a 30-06. Now everybody's using smaller calibers. Some people had a 270, used the 270, and a lot of people had the 7 mag, but most people had a 30-06 back in the day. Now they have the 6.5 Creedmoor and all these different rifles that and calibers I never ever really messed with. I would love to though. In fact, I'm working on getting some. I want to sell enough leather that I can start resupplying my gun collection. That's how I started getting into leather again. Was I have a pistol. I was able to get a pistol, and I have a Smith & Wesson 40 caliber, and I don't have a holster, just a box, And then I bought a little zipper case to put it in, but I don't have a holster, and I wanted a holster, so I started shopping. The holster I want, that I would like. It's like $400, right? $400 for a holster is like, holy cow. Yeah, the M1 Garand. That's what I think it was modeled after. It was the M1. So I was laying there, and after a couple of weeks of looking at holsters, I have nothing to do, right? I'm tired of watching videos. I'm tired of playing games. I'm tired of laying there. So I tell my wife, you know what? I could make a holster. I could make one. And she just busted out laughing. I never made her anything, ever. I never told her I made leather things. She knew my dad did, though. He always was making things, but his leather setup was in my bedroom. So from the time I was a wee little lad, I was getting in trouble messing around with his leather, all the time. Yeah, the 7mm, that a lot of people like that one. I actually like it. That's a nice caliber. I want one. I actually want it in the Weatherby, a Vanguard or a Mark V. Hey kid, what are you doing?
Say hi, Papa.
Say hi to everybody. Everybody can hear you. Say hi.
Hi.
Say Ohio.
Hello.
Okay, you gotta go. Bye. Go on, you got to go in the house. Go on, the mosquitoes will get you. They'll carry you away. Yep. Yeah, so I started doing that, and I made a holster, and then now I made a shoulder rig, a shoulder harness rig holster for me. I probably should have brought it out here and showed you guys. It's pretty cool. A lot of people like it, and only I don't like it. I got it off of a pattern I got from Tandy, and I knew I wasn't gonna like it. Okay, but I needed something to make one so that I could figure out what I want to modify and make it mine, right? Make it where, but I had no idea where to start. I never made a shoulder rig, and so I put together this pattern, this shoulder rig pattern, and right away the first thing I didn't like was that on the back, on your back where all the straps come out, there's a little round, and it fits right. It rides too high up on my neck, and so I want that lower, a little lower, like maybe between my shoulder blades. But it's okay until I put the pistol and the magazine on. The weight actually pulls the harness up my back, so I need to fix that. That's really cool, Mark. I have some stuff like that too floating around, and I've been making people stuff lately. I haven't sold very much stuff because I didn't feel comfortable. From the time I stopped, I had worked with leather a little over a decade as a kid, and I stopped right before I got married. So that was like almost 50 years ago. We're going to be married 46 years this coming December. So it's been, almost 50 years since I tooled leather. And I used to make holsters for the sheriff department here. My dad was a sheriff, and I made him some. And then all his buddies, they're like, oh, I want one, I want a handcuff case, I want a key ring. And then back then, a real popular thing was quick draw. So I made probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 quick draw holster belt setups with the belt with the loops to hold the ammo, the rounds on it and all that. And so I had done all that, and I made probably a couple of wallets, one purse, a bunch of bracelets, because it was the 70s, so bracelets, we had POW MIA bracelets, and I didn't never sell any of that. I always gave them away to people. And then my dad, he would tell me what to make, buy the leather for me, but then when I was done with it, he would take it to his buddy and he gave it to him, so I didn't make anything. So when I got back into the hobby, and I didn't feel comfortable making things for sale right away, because I couldn't make it look like what I remember I used to do. To me, it looked like crap, what I was making. Everybody else was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. But to me, it was not what I was capable of, and I knew it, and it just took practice. So I made belts for Jeff and Leonard and Danny and some other friends. I just got done with a belt for my neighbor. He's an 86-year-old. And one day he was watching me make a belt over here, and he was like, I always wanted a belt. His name is Bob. He goes, I wanted a belt with my name on the back that said Bobby. And he goes, I love those feathers on that guitar strap you're making. And so I had his wife sneak a belt over here of his that he wears all the time, and I measured the belt and where, the little hole that he uses, and I made him a belt. And then I was actually in the middle, I was almost done with it, and I work outside, like my workbench is right here. So I do all my stuff outside, and so he walked up on me, and I didn't know that he was doing that, and I felt like somebody was behind me, and I turned and looked, and he was standing there all, and he's seen his name, Bobby, the way he wanted. There's feathers, and he goes, "That's mine, huh?" And I go, "Yeah, it is," And he says, "I'm never gonna wear it. It's too pretty." I told him, "Yeah, you are." I go, "I can make you another one. Go ahead and mess it up. I don't care." I mean, he's 86 years old. He never had a belt that said Bobby on it. Now he has one, and I gave it to him yesterday. I found a belt buckle. He wanted feathers, so I found a belt buckle that had feathers and turquoise, and I made his name turquoise, and I put his initials on the end, the belt end, so that when you put it on, the very front, it'll have your initials on the. Wish I had one I could show you, but I don't have one. I could show you right offhand. Oh wait, I do have one. I do it like this. I made one for me, but you put your initials. Oh, my camera's backwards. What the heck? But I put a feather like that. It wasn't that feather, but these feathers, that's what he saw. I think it was this feather that I put it on it. And this one's not great. This is one of the first ones, and I didn't know. I carved my name on there. So I traced out some letters on there, and I didn't know I was going to wear this belt. I didn't think I was. It was just a practice thing, and so I didn't care if the letters are straight or not. I just wanted to see if I could even trace them on there and then carve them out and tool it. But then when I got done, I was like, hey, I mean, it doesn't matter if the letters are crooked or if I messed up on the acorns or the feather. That doesn't take away from the utility of the belt, right? I mean, the belt fit me perfect because I made it my size. Only I've had to lose a few holes since I made it because I've lost weight. But I wasn't sure if I could actually, I'm not saying make the letters on put the letters on the belt. I'm more like saying where I would be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, is it going to look good enough that I'm going to continue to try to do it, or is it going to be so crappy that idea is gone? Yeah, but it turned out I could, and I was going to make myself a new belt and put them straight, but it was like, this one works, but I made Bobby's straight. I sure have. In fact, I'll show you one I'm working on right now for my grandson. It's for Christmas. And I bought a bunch of knives. I think they're 10-inch blades at a local sporting goods store on sale they're normally $36, and I got them for $12, and I bought 3 of them. But let me see here. So he likes to play Zelda, right? And I messed up. The last one I did one just like this. And this is really heavy leather. It's a 10 ounce. So when you make the welt, and then you put 10 ounce on the back, this sucker's like a little over a ½ inch wide. But I bought this new tool, and I really don't care. Like, people say, oh, that looks all crooked and everything. I really don't care, It's a one of a kind. There is no other one, but he likes Zelda, so I did the Zelda thing. And this isn't finished. This is just tool. Put the holes in it, and I use a thicker thread on holsters and sheets. So, and then I might not even go with this one because I made one for another grandson that is the same thing, but I didn't put the border on it, and it looks really good. I have it in the bedroom with the knife in it right now, but I'm making them for the grandkids, and leather things, like you were saying, you made a wallet and it's still good after like 25 years, right? A knife sheath I can give to my teenage grandson, and they can pass it down to their kids later if they take care of it. That's how good, especially these 9-10 ounce veg tan leathers. I mean, there's some people that have holsters that I made, some quick draw holsters, that got in touch with me and were asking me if I could make them, like redo them, and clean them up and fix them up. And I wasn't into leather then, but they still had them, and I made those when I was like 15, right? 15 years old. And I mean, it was a good 50 years ago, but it was several years ago when they asked me, but I didn't have the tools. I wasn't into it, and I don't know why I wasn't. I can't figure out why. Why did I stop? I don't know. Just an interesting thing. But I actually want to make some things, and I'm going to give them away on this channel. And, it'll be generic, like a wallet where I don't have to size it to anybody. It won't be a holster because you got to have the pistol, and I don't know what everybody carries or has. No belts because, one belt's going to fit somebody and it's not going to fit them to do the next thing. That's exactly right, Mark. That is exactly right. It means it's a one of a kind. Even if you make the same pattern and the same item on the same hide that you cut the first one off of, there's not another one like it still. They are one of a kind. You're the only one on the planet, and you can't do it again. A machine can. They can machine cut, machine stamp, machine sew, and they can knock them out and they look identical over and over. You can't do that. You're not a machine. So whatever I make or you make or anyone makes by hand sewn, they're hand stitched, hand tooled, it's a one-off. There is not another one like it. Even if you made another one with everything the same for somebody else, it's not the same. There is differences, and you can't do it again. It would, I don't know what the odds would be of you being able to make something and then do it again. I mean, you'll hit one stamp harder, or you'll cut deeper, or there's just a million things that could be different about it, and usually they're obvious to us, to who make it, but sometimes they're not so obvious to the people that have it. But we're zeroed in on, like right there where I double stamped and didn't hit hard enough, and we're zeroed into that little zone, and they're taking it from the 40,000 foot view, right? They might not ever see that, and one day they might see it, but they're not seeing that. They're probably seeing this, and they're seeing the edge and all that, but they're not zeroing in on that one little stamp you messed up. Yeah, so I'm thinking about making a Rumble channel. YouTube's messing with me so hard, and I think it goes all the way back to me and Jeff. They're messing with Jeff. They're getting his views. They're kicking his ass, right? And I mean, they're doing the same thing to me. Even though I might not be talking about all that I used to talk about, it doesn't matter. They decided a long time ago that they put me in this slot where they're gonna F with you. And they don't just say, oh, he quit doing that, let's quit effing with him. No, they're gonna you stay in the effed up area, and probably this channel will always be in the effed up area because they immediately put me in the effed up area, just like they did Jeff. And it doesn't matter how many accounts we create on YouTube. As soon as they figure out that it's you get put in the effed up slot. I don't know if that's AI. I don't know if that's people that work for YouTube, but I do know you can say whatever you want on Rumble, pretty much. And there's some things I want to talk about. that if I even made one little mention of on this channel, boom, there is one exciting thing happening there. And this isn't Bigfoot related, kind of, because I don't go anywhere in the woods without packing a big gun, you know. Exactly right, Amanda, exactly. And then you don't know if these truthers, just like Steve Isdall, what they're reporting on or what they think or anything like that, you don't know if they really know what they're talking about or if they're getting misinformation. And a lot of them are new to this. And I can tell you this from experience, and Jeff too, we were bringing this stuff about what's happening today 8 years ago. We were talking about this a long time ago, and we were warning people, this is coming, this is coming. And it was before they censored. We were able to talk about it. We talked about Hollywood. We talked about cloning. I mean, I opened up, I uploaded, I had a bunch of videos on my computer from our shows, and they weren't being seen anywhere. And I decided, you know, like, I know Jeff doesn't really want them out there or something, but they have information that you can't find on the internet anymore. They have sanitized the internet. And when I started really looking at around all these videos, I'm like, oh my God, but you know, I made those videos available. You know, I started uploading them, a little here, a little there, and I got most of them on there now. I get hits. I get hit by YouTube all the time on those old videos. They're always, some of them, they turned them off. They are not public anymore. They turned them off. That makes me mad. I mean, like, who are they to decide what we get to say and hear? I mean, who are they? Just like right now, California just lost yesterday for the second time a Second Amendment magazine ban. Okay, they pulled a number out of the air. 10 rounds is all you could have in a magazine. Luckily they don't say how many magazines you could carry, but no matter what weapon you have, you can't have more than a 10-round magazine. When the standard all around the country is around 15. Plus they can have any amount they want, right? So they lost. We lost our right. And what I don't get is they took away our Second Amendment right. And as soon as they decided they were going to do that, we had to capitulate or get arrested or fined. So if you already owned them, you could keep them, but you can't carry them, right? They're illegal. But you could have them, and we'd go to the woods and shoot stuff off, and we would use them, but if we ever got caught with it, we'd be in trouble in California. When every other state could have them. And they could have a 50-round one. I mean, if they could put a 55-gallon drum and connect it to their pistol if they want. I mean, there is no limit anywhere. There shouldn't be a limit here. So they lost. The second time, right? The first time when somebody went and said it's against our Second Amendment right, they lost. And then they appealed it, and it went to a bunch of judges and this liberal thing, and then they overturned it and said, no, it's not a Second Amendment right. You can only have 10 rounds. Well, they appealed it again, and now it went back to that judge because nobody wanted to touch this hot potato. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, but they knocked it back down to the appeals court, and then the appeals court like, oh no, you know, and they sent it back to the judge that they originally said it's unconstitutional, and he did it again. And then he said, I put a 10-day stay on this. So that gives California a time to appeal it again. They started this in 2017, the actual lawsuit saying it's a Second Amendment right. And then here it is, 2023, we won twice. They should just give it up. They should give it up. We should never, ever give up our rights. Ever. We shouldn't let YouTube silence us. We shouldn't let Facebook silence us. We should be getting angry, right? I'll probably lose my channel for talking about this, but I don't care. If I lose it, see me over in Rumble, because I'll be over there. And I'm telling you, I'm back over here. See what I did there? Back. My back is good, so I'm back. Yeah. So they should just give it up, and we should never, ever, ever give up a right just because they say it's, until they overturn the Second Amendment or any other right we have, they should have to, we should never capitulate. We should never, ever roll over and let them do this, ever. We should make them do it the right way, like go through Congress. And then these people should be doing what they work for us, remember? We don't work for them. They work for us. Did we forget? I don't think us old people forgot, but they don't teach it in school anymore, so all our younger generation, they don't know that they work for us. They think we're supposed to do what they tell us. No. They don't do it. We don't do what they tell us. They do what we tell them, right? They represent us. That's the difference. They represent us. We elected them. Freaking punks. Like, how do I get that back? I saw that. Uh-oh. Let me see here. Does that do it? Oh. Darn. I don't know how to get that back. Oh well. I saw it, something about Utah. But yeah. I mean, I'll get off my soapbox on that. But all that just to say, YouTube sucks, okay? They really do. And then another thing, there's other YouTubers that they say they're not in it for the money. They say they're passionate about what they're sharing and everything. But then they say, oh man, you can't say this on YouTube. So they give you a little bit, and then they tell you, hey, go over to this link I'm giving you and sign in to my other thing where you got to pay $5, $10, $15, whatever it is a month to hear them talk about it. Why don't they just go to Rumble and talk about it, right? Because they need the money? Is that what it is? Like, I always could use the money too, but I always feel like you earn it. Like, if you got this information free and it's free, then you share it free. And if the people feel like supporting you, they'll support you. You don't got to send them over there and force the people or make it where they only could hear this if they pay that monthly amount. Some people will, some people want to. I'll go share everything on Rumble, and I'm really totally fine on how I'm living right now. Sure, I could use more, and I need a new car and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to be selling myself like a prostitute or something. Like, I understand you make a living, but you can make an account, and if everybody wants to join it, but don't make it where it's either this or that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I feel like that I'd rather share freely given information and freely give that information. And if I find something out and it's detrimental to the public, like, I can't afford to have a $5 a month account over here and a $9 one over there and a $15 one over there and another $5 one over here and a $6 one over there. I can't afford all that a month. I can barely afford the internet to be able to just access things. It is all about the money. Can't find another channel to watch that. Yeah. Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go over to Rumble. I don't know what the name of it is. Maybe we'll do something on here and you guys name the channel or something. I know there's not a ton of people that watch me over here. I don't care. I enjoy fellowshipping with everyone. You guys are my family. I've been on here for 10 years. I know a lot of you haven't been with me with that long, but that's how long I've been out here, and some have. Some have been 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. I don't care if it's 100,000 people or 1,000 people or 10 people. I don't care. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep doing it. And it killed me to not be able to do this for the last year almost. I mean, I was starting to not make videos because I absolutely could not. And I wanted to, and I would tell you guys, oh, I'm going to be back. And I wouldn't be back because of my back and my legs. And I couldn't walk, and I couldn't sit, and I couldn't even hardly lay down. And it got where I had to make a choice. Like, do I keep YouTube and not be able to make any videos? Even I can't even do things for my own self, right? Even personal things I want to do, I couldn't do, let alone add on YouTube and do things for everybody that I wanted to do. Well, I'm not now. I found, God helped me find a doctor that could fix me, and he fixed me. And I think it's a lot to do with God. Yeah, I could. In fact, today Adolf messaged me last night. He goes, hey man, you want to go out and fly the drone and go check out some areas? And it's like, yeah, I do, but only I have to fix the toilet in a little while. I really can't. I saw that. I couldn't read it so fast, but it doesn't leave it on the screen long enough for me to read it. But so I'm going to make a Rumble channel and go over there. I actually feel like Hollywood's done, right? I have a feeling TV is done, completely done. I have a feeling there's a new internet coming. This internet is going to be gone, and they're going to come out with a new internet, and they're going to do away with all these signals in the air and stuff like that. Like TV signals and pay kind of stuff. I think a lot of stuff's going to be free. I actually believe the internet's going to be free. I think the power is going to be free. Your electric power is going to be free. I'm looking forward to the med bed technology. And believe it or not, I was reading about this stuff, GESAR, all that stuff. It's 2001. When the internet first came on, I stumbled on this stuff because I was looking for Bigfoot stuff. Me too, Mark. 3 channels. And I would get home from school and it was Superman. It's a bird. It's a plane. And it was black and white, But I love that. Hi, Carrier CE, man. How's it going? But yeah, so let's do a thing. You guys come up with a name for me. I don't care if it's Bigfoot related. I really don't care. Like, come up with a name and put it in the comments. I would buy silver and gold if you can, because I have it from some good sources that I've had for like 8 years telling me it's over, and it is over really soon. And I've even been telling my kids, and they want to argue with me. No, we already heard it. We're over it. I bought a generator and I sold it because nothing happened. What? Are you serious? I've been telling people to get a generator for 10 years. 10 years. I think today it's more pressing to get that generator than it ever was, right? You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody knows. I mean, you don't even know with your own health. I was working in the casino. I was the marketing director, the food and beverage director. I was the network administrator, all at the same time. I was a director over 3 different pieces of the casino. I mean, the top dog, making the most in the casino, loving life. YouTube wasn't even a thing. I mean, I was I thought I had made it. I made the dream. I had a ranch. I had cars. I was having fun. I was traveling all around. I was hanging out with Steve Wynn. I mean, Vegas Wynn. He even hired me right before I got hurt. 2 weeks before I got hurt. And I put in my 2-week notice. And I got hurt in that 2 weeks. And I couldn't work for him. And I couldn't work. I didn't work ever again. I mean, that's how fast things can change in 24 hours. 1 minute you're on top of the world. You have 2 safes full of guns, sports cars, trucks, horses, geese, cows, sheeps, stuff. And then in one day, you don't have anything and you can't walk. You lose the ability to walk. You lose the ability to work. And then the government disability that you paid into all your life, working life, they decide they're going to fight you. Even though you're in a wheelchair and you have doctors telling you to go do it and they're all behind you, even their doctor says you're disabled, the judge is like, oh no, you look good, look at you. Yeah, look at me. I had belonged to a gym. I was working out every freaking 3 days a week, golfing 2 days a week. Yeah, I looked great. That didn't change what happened to me and put me in the wheelchair. That did not change anything. But by the time they decide to give it to you, after you fight them and appeal 2 times and go to court a bunch of times, then they give it to you. But by then you lost everything. You sold everything so that you could live and eat and pay your bills. And then you wind up with nothing. And that's where they want you. I think they actually wanted me to commit suicide so they never had to pay me in the first place. That's what I think they wanted. But I am not that guy. So yeah, the whole system's all messed up. It's all going to change. And we don't know what tomorrow brings, right? Tomorrow could be the crash of the economy. Tomorrow could be the day all the internet goes off and we'll be without information. I mean, Jeff got hit by a truck. He should have been dead. They thought he was dead. He was laying under the truck. And they were taking their time because they thought for sure the way everything looked, he was dead. And then he comes crawling out, and I bet they thought they saw a ghost. Like, you're just like, oh my God, what happened? And walking and everything, I bet you could have blew him over. Like, what? You should be dead. Yeah. Yeah, it's really something, man. Jeff, he got hit by the truck, and now, he's having leg problems, and you never know. Luckily, he could still work and stuff like that, but he was off work for a long time. I mean, it really sucks, You never know. So don't be planning for the worst all the time. And if it happens, you're ready. If it doesn't happen, hey, you have some stuff, That's right. Brain tumor. Oh my God, that's terrible. Yeah, his guardian angel was with him. That's for sure. Well, I'm enjoying the heck out of this, hanging out with you guys, but I'm almost can't sit here any longer. Isn't that terrible? I can't sit here any longer. But I don't know how long it's been. Maybe an hour or something like that. I can't tell. But at least I looked at you guys the whole time. I could see every one of you in my mind's eye. Believe me, I've been praying for all of you guys because I know how tough it is right now. And I missed you guys, man. I thought about you guys all the time. I was like, I can't wait to get back. I knew I was coming back. I knew it, but I didn't want to come back too early, and then because I know me, I will push the envelope and I'll hurt myself. I'll do the wrong thing, and then I'll wind up not being able to do what I love to do, and I've done it in other areas already just in the last few months. But now I know, the doctor said, okay, you're clear, you can do these things, but you still have 3 or 4 months to go before you're totally healed. And I mean, that's how serious this back surgery thing was, and I mean, I couldn't even take a shower for almost 3 months. It was like, oh my God. That ain't me neither. Oh my God, you know. And I could hardly bend over the sink to get my hair washed. It was terrible. Oh man. But I am back for reals. And before, when I would say I was back, I really wasn't back. I was on my way out. I was on my way to a wheelchair again. And I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell everybody where I was at. I didn't want to tell anybody how bad it was. I just wanted to be like, go how I see myself going, not what my body was making me do. Finally, it came to the point where, okay, I have to stop everything. And I mean everything. No squatching, no going to the mountains, no. I have to take care of this. I found a doctor to do it. No matter how long it takes me out, like it could be a year, I don't care. When I come back, I'm coming back rip-roaring back, and way better than I ever was before, with actual light at the end of the tunnel and actually able to do more than I was physically able to. Hey, Mom, say hi to everybody. Oh, she doesn't hear me.
No.
She likes to throw stuff away. Drives everybody crazy over here. I don't know what this is. Boom. That's what I had, the L5 and S1. I had the spacer put in. And then I had 3 procedures where I don't know what, it's like a laminectomy kind of like, but it wasn't, it was called mild. Where they go in and clip, where like the bulge is hitting the nerve. Instead of clipping the bulge on the disc, they went around to the other side over here and they clipped the stuff around so it took the pressure off of the nerve. And I have 3 of those, 1 on the left side, 2 on the right side, but the right side was still bad, and I was still going to be in a wheelchair if they didn't fix it. And this last one, it took care of it pretty good. The wheelchair isn't even in the cards anymore, but they still might have to do 1 more procedure. But they're thinking it's something they wanted to do early on. It was I don't know what it's like, a TENS unit, but it's not. It actually wire your spine, and then you carry this little thing inside of you that you can adjust to confuse the signal to your brain using electric pulses or something like that. I don't want one. I was in groups. Yeah, something like that. And I had the nerve conduction test early on when I first was disabled to get Social Security, and they shock your nerve 10 times, each nerve. And I mean, it hurts. It hurts. They put a needle in your spine, and then they put one down at your ankle, and they actually tap into the nerve. It hurts. And then they shock it 10 times, and they measure how fast the signal goes from that needle to that needle. And the last one, I mean, they do your good leg, that really hurts. I'm going to do your bad leg, that hurts because it's hurting already, and it makes it just excites the pain and everything. When the last one I had, the doctor had to sit on me because I wanted to beat him up. I thought he was digging in. He couldn't find the nerve in my back, so he's like digging around looking for it. And man, oh man, I was cussing him. I told him, you know what? When I get up, I am going to hurt you, you know. And when he got done, man, I jumped off that little bed and fell right on the floor, and he just laughed at me. I meant to hurt him though, because he hurt me for almost an hour and a half. It was like torture. I couldn't even stand up. It was like, like they're in custom, you know. But wow, I never want to go through that again, and that's how I feel about that thing that they wire on your onto your spinal cord. I really don't want that, you know. I don't know what do they got to do, you know. You know, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna move to Rumble. I'll still keep my YouTube and I'll share little things on it, but I'm gonna make a Rumble where I could talk with you guys about anything, and that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, that's right. Shocked all day. And you could change the pulses so that it changes because your body will get used to one pulse or one intensity level, and then they got to change it every so often, and so it tricks your brain all the time. I don't really want it, but that's the next thing that we're talking about. But that's in 3 or 4 months. I'm probably not gonna. I can deal with a little pain. I mean, if I'm not in pain on both legs going down all the way to the bottom of my feet and shooting like choo 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 choo, and then feeling like something's pressing down, you know, and then that pain goes all the way down your leg on both sides. You can't lay down, you can't sit down. That's where I was at. Now it's just every so often on the right side. I mean, it hurts, but it'll last a couple hours and then it's gone. So a couple hours, it's like, wow, you know, but then I'm back and healthy again. So I don't know, but leave your ideas on a name for the Rumble channel, and so I'll do both, kind of like how Jeff's doing, but I'm gonna actually talk about anything in the Rumble channel, absolutely everything, whatever you want to talk about. A lot of things I'm afraid to say on here just to lose this one, and this one. A lot of people that are just Bigfoot, they wanna come here, and they're not even interested in any of that other stuff, and they should be, but they're not. So that's what I want to do. I enjoyed my few minutes. I'm getting really uncomfortable. I gotta get up, and I have to go fix a toilet. It's leaking underneath the wax ring. I'm gonna have my wife help me pick up the toilet off of there. But yeah, so you guys, I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off. You guys have a really good weekend, what's left of it. I will see you very soon, I promise. And you can take that one to the bank. Except the banks are going to crash, but you can take it to the Sasquatch bank. All right, you guys, later. I think that's how you turn it off. Yes, I'm sure.